Look at this article below. Everyone wants to be rich. This guy with just 25 years of his age wants to earn 1 crore. This is a question for many of us. So I'm going to burst out some myths, some points and some steps in order to reach your first goal of 1 crore and how to really build a wealth in your life. Let's get started. This video is going to be divided in 3 sections. So first one, I'll cover about the base of your life which everyone has to follow in order to get to the journey of richness. The second one, I will disclose some very good statistics of rich people and how they have really become rich. If you think one can become rich and wealthy in their life only through business, so then this myth is going to be burst out today. So continue watching this video till the end. Lastly, I will cover about some few steps that one need to follow, and these are very basic steps that one has to follow in order to go towards the path and the journey of building massive wealth in your life. Starting on the base foundation. पहले तो ये माइंड में क्लियर करो कि डेफिनेशन ऑफ रिचनेस है क्या आपके लिए. एवरीवन हैज़ अ वेरी डिफरेंट डेफिनेशन ऑफ रिचनेस. फॉर सम इट माइट बी लाइक गेटिंग अ फाइनेंशियल फ्रीडम इन देयर लाइफ. किसी के लिए हो सकता है कि एक 1 करोड़ का वेल्थ जनरेट करना, या फिर किसी के लिए हो सकता है एक सक्सेसफुल बिजनेस रन करना, 2000 लोगों को एम्प्लॉय करना, इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस में एक्सपांड करना. सो द डेफिनेशन ऑफ रिचनेस इज वेरी डिफरेंट फॉर एवरीवन. सो फर्स्टली ट्राई टू outline what is your definition of richness. Thereafter, there are few things which you need to set up as a base into your life, because if you base these things in your life, then you can easily move on to the next journey and go towards the path of richness. So the base is simply taking care of 4 important things in your life. The number one base is have an adequate health cover in your life. So if you have a sufficient health cover, I say adequate over here because लाइफ के इमरजेंसी टाइम पे एक सपोर्टिव हेल्थ कवर होना काफ़ी नेसेसरी है. नंबर 2 इज हैव एन एडिक्वेट लाइफ कवर. नाउ लाइफ कवर हम जो लेते हैं, जो कि बेसिकली टर्म इंश्योरेंस होता है, 50 लाख टू 1 करोड़ के आसपास का लेते हैं. However, by 60 years, the value of this 1 crore will be merely 30 to 40 lakh after factoring the inflation in it. So in order to have a good amount of life cover, it is important to take a term insurance of at least 3 to 4 crore as a minimum adequate coverage. Third very simple thing is have an emergency fund. काफ़ी लोग advise करते हैं that you should need an emergency fund of 6 months. Well, I don't really believe on that. I feel that you should have an emergency fund of at least minimum of 2 years of time frame. There are 2 primary reasons behind it. Firstly, if an emergency happens, you have a good enough time to get out of that. So you need at least 6 months to recover out of that. Secondly, if you want to take any further risk in your life, then 6 months are not enough. If you want to start your own business, start your own venture, do freelancing kind of activity, then you need good amount of time in order to have and be successful in that domain in whichever you take risk into. So minimum 2 years of emergency fund is what I would recommend. And lastly is risk profiling. Well, ये बहुत लोग इग्नोर करते हैं, but this is a very important point, क्योंकि मैंने भी खुद ये पर्सनली बहुत लेटर स्टेज पे रियलाइज किया कि इन एन अर्ली एज इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू टेक एज मच एज रिस्क एज पॉसिबल. ये आप एक बार आप आपका 30s या 40s क्रॉस कर दोगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि यू विल हैव वेरी लिमिटेड अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन द फ्यूचर टाइम टू टेक एनी रिस्क दैट यू वांट. So take risk in the beginning, that's totally fine. Once you set this base in your life, it is very easy because you're tension free in your mind to take any kind of risk and delve into any of your personal passion. So let's move on and see how you can really build 1 crore into your life. The next topic, now I'm going to talk about and outline some of these statistics of rich people, how they have built their fortune in their life. And if you're thinking business is the only way, then I'm going to burst this myth by highlighting some names to you in this part. So if you take a look at this chart, which is a billionaire Raj of India, so that tells how many Indians are billionaires as of now. So if you see this, this is from 2017 up until 2021. The number has increased from 100 people being billionaire to 177, that's close to 180 people being billionaire in India as of now. So considering the population of India, which is 140 crore, that is merely 0.00001% of Indians are actually billionaires. Now you must be laughing and thinking that the number is so small and so fractional that how can you be one of them? Well, to answer you, yes, you can be one of them. There are just few things that you need to be following up. To give you some more interesting stats, China has 1000 people who are billionaires and America has somewhere around 700 people who are billionaires. Now, I will be giving you 2 pro tips at the end of this video, which are the characteristic trait of rich people. The purpose of this video is not to disclose an information that this is the sure shot way of becoming a billionaire. This is simply to help you in get into that direction, get into that mindset of a billionaire, by which hopefully some or the other names and the viewers who are watching this video will come out of India as a billionaire. Now you have seen that there is an approximate 80% increase in the billionaires count in the last 7 years of time frame from 2017 up onwards till now. We will see and compare these numbers with a stock market. So if you see this chart over here and take the data from 2017 onwards, which is from January 2017 up until now, there is approximately 132% increase in the stock market overall growth of Nifty itself. This simply tells us that the billionaires count has increased in proportion to the stock market. Now this might be a funny comparison to look after, but what I'm trying to outline over here is that the rich people are playing the game of stock market. This is not a deniable, और ये सबको मालूम है कि stock market में invest करके ही पैसा कमाया जा सकता है. So the purpose and the motto behind this message is, and comparing this number of billionaires with the stock market return is simply to put you in that direction, that get into the stock market. That's where the money will be made for you. Now, as we are speaking about stock market, the first thing that would come to your mind is stock market means business, and that's the only way to become billionaire. Well, that information is right, but that information is not true. Why do I say this? I will outline some names for you who are working professionals. They are Indians and they have got into the billionaires list by working at an optimal level and with a very high amount of expertise in their own domain. You can also be, so my viewers, if you are a working professional, even you can be one of them. So let me call out some names over here. Mr. Thomas Curran, a former Oracle executive who now heads the Google Cloud Computing division. Ms. Jayashree Ullal, who is the boss of Arista Network, a very big cloud networking firm. Mr. Ajaypal Banga, the former chief executive of MasterCard. Who does not know this gent? You will also notice some upcoming names such as Sundar Pichai from Alphabet, Satya Nadella from Microsoft with an estimated net worth of $800 million. Plus, now you will see an addition of Nikesh Arora, who heads the Palo Alto firm, that is another big cybersecurity firm. So the point to emphasize over here is to get out of the myth that business is the only way for you to become rich and come in the billionaires list. Well, you can be a working professional and still be in the billionaires list. It's just that you have to act little smart in your life. एक interesting fact आपको बताता हूँ. Everyone wants to get rich, but no one is properly disclosing a way of how to get rich. So if you simply Google this chart, you will find that in 2000 period, back then almost 20 years back, there was so much craziness of how to become rich that this word of how to become rich came in the top search engine listing keywords of Google. Stay tuned. In the end, I'm going to disclose about 2 pro tip, the characteristics trait of billionaires. And also the next video, I'm going to talk about the recession, because it is very important to understand your history and what are learnings you can get, so that आप अगर market में invest कर रहे हो, so it will be a very beneficial video for you. Let's move on. The next section now, which I will cover up, is some steps to follow in order to go into the direction and take a very good path towards richness. Make this very clear in your mind that कोई magic formula नहीं है to become rich. एक बहुत simple सा rule है, which is save as much as you can and spend. To take a minimalist approach when it comes to spending, spend less than what you earn. बहुत लोग credit card पे जीते हैं. That's not how richness or wealth is built in a fortune. So richness का अगर base देखेंगे, how you can be really rich or a wealthy person, उसका सिर्फ एक ही point है, which is an expertise in any particular domain. It could be with respect to your business, it could be with respect to investing in the stock market, it could be your personal passion of taking videos or taking photography. So उस चीज़ में expertise आना is very important, और उसके लिए मैं आपका attention एक book पे लेकर आऊँगा, which is of Malcolm Gladwell. The book name is Outliers. What he simply says that if you invest 10,000 hours into any particular activity, you will gain the desired expertise and you will be in a number 1 position in that particular domain. Breaking down this 10,000 hours, that is roughly around 420 days, which is equivalent to 14 months. Considering you are working 24 hours a day, that's not possible. So if you take a very fair number, which is 40 hours of work week, that is equivalent to somewhere around 50 weeks. That means 5 years of time frame is required in order to gain an expertise in any domain. Now, this is the base of going towards the journey of richness, because आपको किसी चीज़ में success चाहिए, then that's the minimal amount of time that one you need to invest, and that's why I say it is very important to start early. Otherwise, आगे जाकर सिर्फ regret ही रहेगा. So let's move on, and now I'm going to talk about 6 very good steps. As we move on, do consider subscribing this channel because I'll be making many more videos which will help you personally grow in your life and go into the journey of financial freedom and maybe even be in the billionaires list. So let's get started, and let me bring your attention upon 6 steps that one need to follow. And these are some essential steps that you need to consider. So take a pen and paper, maybe pause this video and write down some of these steps with you and invest some time on these steps, scribbling down, jotting down the points which you feel that you can address and answer some of these points which I'm highlighting. So here are those 6 steps. One is establish your goals. So in terms of talking about goals is with respect to finance, with respect to money, how much you want to achieve. Now, goals need not be in terms of always as a money. It can be your personal or passionate goals as well. The point which I spoke in the very beginning of this video. So if you're dreaming to be Jeff Bezos and you're aiming somewhere around 1 million worth of amount in your bank account, then that's not a real goal to be achieved. So try to outline what you want to really achieve and set that forward in your life. Second is keep money. I often see people talking about saving money, investing money. Even I do talk about those things. But there is one characteristic which is with the rich people, which is they know how to keep their money. Saving is again different from keeping a money. Maybe I'll try to make a different video totally upon this topic. Just to keep it very simple, you earn, you spend, you save, you invest. But there is one more nature of money, which is nothing but keeping money. That means you are actively keeping the money with you and waiting for that right opportunity to come and invest into. Third is destroy your debt. Now, this is a thing which many people suffer because everyone undergoes or has some or the other kind of a debt or a loan in their life. It could be with respect to education loan, personal loan, housing loan, car loan. You have to really strategically think upon the interest that you are paying to the bank, because this work in your personal life that you're doing in order to gain that money, and you're actually merely working for the bank in reality if you see. So it is wise to destroy your debt as early as possible so that you can go into and take that risk-averse journey of richness in your life. Create a cushion for yourself, which is nothing but an emergency fund, because again I started in the very beginning of this video where I highlighted that emergency fund of 6 months is not enough. If you're targeting to be taking a risk averse and going into that journey, then ensure an emergency fund of at least 2 years, because it will help you take the desired risk and will give you the space of time in order to mitigate that risk and overcome any obstacles that you may face in that time frame. Start investing as early as you can. This is a delayed process by many individuals. Many people don't even know basics of mutual fund investing, basics of direct investing. So follow and subscribe my channel where I'll be disclosing and teaching you multiple such topics belonging to multiple domains which will help you personally grow. So this is a very important thing where you have to really start investing. And because saving itself is not enough, I am totally against fixed deposit, and I can just fight with anyone who claims that fixed deposit is a very good investment and asset class. It is good, but it has to be thought and pursued from a very different direction. Maybe in a different video I will talk about it. Let me know in the comment below if you want me to make a video about fixed deposit, giving you a different perspective towards it. See in your life if you can go forward and take this FIRE approach, which simply means that financial independence, retire early. Now this is a very conservative approach and following a very minimalist approach where you cut down all the expenses so that you have some extra cash and a cushion in your life through which you can invest and generate more higher income. If you want to go through the details of this FIRE, I have found a very nice blog for you. So I will put that in the caption below. If you have a free time, you can definitely go through this FIRE blog. And I would urge and recommend you do go through it at least once in your life, because it might just completely change the perspective of you looking at the financial independence. As promised, here are the 2 pro tips, 2 characteristic trait of rich people. Many knows about it, but there are very few who follow it. The number 1 is stop procrastinating. By the time you will realize in your life that you are 30 or 40, the time has already gone. So stop procrastinating on anything. Procrastinating maybe to subscribe this channel. This is a very bad way of asking for a video. But yes, stop procrastinating when it comes to investing. Stop procrastinating when it comes to learning about money management, finance, personal finance, stock investing. Stop procrastinating when it comes to taking any kind of a risk, starting your own business. Go ahead and take that maybe as a side hustle, as a side business if you are a working professional, in whichever way that suits best for you. This is a very good and very strongest trait of, I would say, a rich people. They don't procrastinate. If an action is required now, they take it at the very moment. Number 2 habit, which I don't know why many people really struggle in this habit, which is invest in yourself. So if you feel that why are you at this particular stage compared to the peer or a counter colleague of yours where you see that person, he or she is richer than you, the simple reason behind that is that person is investing more in himself or herself in order to educate, in order to grow in their life. So investment could be with respect to time, give time for yourself. Investment could be with respect to money, invest in some kind of courses, course materials, learning materials which will help you grow. That is not to be treated as an expense in your life. That is actually an investment which will help you grow. So these are the pro tips. Number 1 is stop procrastinating. Number 2 is start investing in yourself. Signing off, this is Ajinkya. Do follow my Instagram handle and do subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video.